If you're a fan of like a MMO type, you dig? I don't know what to call it. But yeah, and then on to the next one, Persona 3 Reload. Probably my game of the year so far. Absolutely amazing remake if you were a fan of the original Persona 3 that came out back in the PS2. So it was remade from the ground up, and as someone who played the absolute crap out of the original Persona 3, I played the OG PlayStation 2 port. I played Persona 3 FES, which was like a remaster of it that also came out on PlayStation 2, which was weird. And then I played Persona 3 Portable. So I can definitely say that this is the definitive way to play Persona 3. It's absolutely freaking amazing. Damn near a 10 out of 10. I don't know. I might do a review specifically for that game only. Who knows? And another good one that me and Detroit are currently playing through right now, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I mean, you've heard it. It's really great. Kind of. I would say kind of. I'm still in the midst of playing it. But honestly, if I could say one thing without going too, because I don't want to ramble, I feel like the people who were in charge of mini games in there played Yakuza games and didn't get why. They didn't get why mini games are good in Yakuza. It's like they played Yakuza and was like, hey, if we make our game have a lot of mini games, it'll be just as good as Yakuza, right? And it was like, yeah, but you don't understand the soul. You copied off the homework, but you didn't replicate the soul. So it's like I don't know what they were thinking.
AI made. AI made.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like that game could be a 10 out of 10. Production wise, it is an absolutely astounding game. But those mini games alone, and a little bit of the structure of the open world, I damn near want to take like 3 points off the game, or like 2 points. Now, it's that bad. And so like. And I wanted to like give it early game of the year because I'm a Final Fantasy fanboy. I'm a fan. I love, those games, but I cannot in good conscience give that game of the year. Cannot. So that's that. Unicorn Overload. I have not played that, but I want to play it. You got Dragon's Dogma 2, which is coming out in like 5 days as of this recording. There's so many games like Elden Ring DLC. There's a remaster of Shin Megami Tensei 5 coming out, which was a Switch exclusive. And thank God they took that game off that piece of shit fucking hardware that needs to die. Nintendo buried this shit this shit is ass. This is a two pack of ass. Get this shit the fuck up out of here. You do not need a Switch no more. Fuck the Switch and fuck everything it stands for. This is a miserable piece of shit that needs to die. That's all the cursing you go hear from me. I'm sorry I had to emphasize that. But other than that, video gaming has been really I don't give a fuck about Nintendo. Fuck Nintendo. I've been 2024 has been amazing for gaming. And we move. Anime, Chris has touched on that. I'm not gonna say too much about the anime shit. Aside, the only thing I'm gonna touch on is Solo Leveling kind of shot themselves in the foot. That premiere should have been like an hour long, and it really should have ended with him bulking up. We shouldn't have gotten 3 episodes with skinny nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should have been in episode 2 with the actual Song Jin-woo. But that's enough of that. But Classroom of the Elite is probably my anime of the year so far. That shit has been absolutely amazing.
Easily.
But I will say another thing before I end it off. Movie recommendation. Dune Part 2. Absolute banger. If you haven't had the opportunity to watch the Dune series or the new Dune series, there's the one that came out a while ago back during my grandma's time. If you haven't, do yourself a favor, watch Dune Part 1. It originally came out, this was during like the pandemic, so they streamed it on HBO Max. I think they still have it on HBO Max. So check out Part 1. Part 2 is still out in theaters, and I highly recommend you spend the money to go see it. It is absolutely amazing. It is a worthwhile experience, and I'm very excited for Part 3. And that's it for me. Like I said before, some of this stuff I may want to put a video out to go more into detail on, but I kind of want to give you a broad overview of things that we've been engaging with so far, since who knows when the next time we record go be. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know.
Your recommendation.
I can't say anime. Cam talked about games, but on the recommendation side, I completely co-sign. I would say me and Cam kind of had the same thoughts, even though I'm a platinum nigga, right? Which sounds crazy, but I platinum games. So like, I sift through a lot of caca to get to the diamond sometimes. Or the platinum. But like I'm in it. Like, you know, when I'm platinum in the game, sometimes I know I'm gonna deal with very, very, very bad mechanics. And like me and my other Cam, me and my homie other Cam, we talk about it a lot and say the more you platinum a game and you play it, you begin to see more and more flaws of the game as it.
Oh yes.
So
100%.
I see that as I go through, you know, Final Fantasy 7, but I still think that's like game of the year. I think Persona 3 is probably right there. We don't get I cop Dragon's Dogma, but we don't know. I don't like to say like how everybody else say this is definitely game of the year, because that's how you get hyped, and then you be like, bro, what these niggas are smoking on? Yeah. So, but you know, the character creation was really good though. So if you're a fan of character creation, they got a Japanese studio got a resounding 4 black hairstyles. So it is a lot of evolution in the community for them. So,
Right.
But no, for me, like I can't recommend more just to go out there and try different games. I think if last year didn't get you to do more games, if you're somebody out there who just played the big 4, LOL, I say go out there and try some stuff, man. Like me and Cam, my homie, I didn't know Cam since we was kids, but being real friends with him for the last like 10 years has expanded me to be a legit person who play a lot of different games, and I'm there. Like, you know, you talk, or you like I sometimes feel like the snob talking gaming to niggas, bro, because I'm like, y'all not really there. It's like niggas who went. It's like niggas who fought in Vietnam and niggas who fought other wars. Like, y'all really wasn't there.
He said you wasn't in them churches for real. No.
But like,
you was in the boat war, nigga.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I kind of feel. I don't, but I recommend it. Like, I recommend Final Fantasy. Look, there's a lot of annoying things that I had to deal with playing with this game, and I'm gonna say this right now: play the first one. Remake is not as long as this thing, so play. But
this game is
way long.
This is like Persona 4 to Persona 5.
Yeah,
Persona 4 is like a 60, 80 hour game. This game is like 130 hours, depending on how you play it.
Especially OG Persona 5, when they made you play that thing twice, because you weren't getting anything unless you played it twice.
All right, man.
But
no, that's long shit.
The game is very.
No, OG Royal didn't make you play the game twice. OG, you cannot officially beat that game unless you played it twice.
Yeah.
Like, and especially if you went in that joint blind, you wasn't getting everything done. So, but I love Rebirth. I close my. I am a what do you want to call it? I don't know. A person that closes eyes to their significant other's flaws. That's what I am. I'm closing my eyes to the flaws. I'm completely blind. Look, let me tell you something.
Because Rebirth. I saw Rebirth out there cheating on me yesterday. That bitch. I don't.
Look, I've seen it for work. I'm in an abusive relationship at the moment. But when I tell you, for every bad thing, there's something that makes you like Tifa is 90% of that great thing that makes you be like, I can deal with the bad. And literally Tifa is 90% of it. Like, okay, like I want to do a full review, Kim, so set that up. We can do a full review of that game and whatever else you want to do. I'll be there to help you. But like, say for instance, I don't want to say too much, but if you so happily do all those side quests and Tifa, you got her heart level up to the way it's supposed to be, it was fucking worth it, man. It was absolutely, honestly, I'm not cursing on this episode, but it was absolutely positively worth all that pain.
Oh yeah.
I'm not
they definitely improved that. Because the OG one, ass.
So I'm saying it was worth the pain, but I think the story makes up for it. Even though I low-key hated Cloud throughout this story, it didn't. Like, this story didn't really shine a good light on my man. I understand. Mako PTSD, Mako poisoning, it's messing up the brains of a lot of people. But God, I hated this nigga.
When this game goes on PC, I'm getting that Zack replace Cloud mod skin, and that's how I'm gonna play my game.
Yeah, Zack really was. Oh my, you beat it, Cam?
I haven't beaten it yet. I'm on chapter 12.
You almost done. Chapter 12, so short. So you almost there. I'm gonna tell you again. In Final Fantasy Fashion, take out 2 good hours just to watch the end of that game. Holy shit! I'm with Cam. Like, I'm with Cam was in a party because we all waiting for a certain moment that everybody know that happens in Final Fantasy. I'm not gonna say it because it will spoil you, but we all waiting for that certain moment. So we sit here. I'm like, is that the moment? Nah. Is that the moment? Nah. We fought hella niggas. Is the moment happening right now? No. I ain't gonna tell. I'm not gonna lie to you. It took at least like an hour and 30 for us to realize, okay, now is the moment. And then when it happened, you realize, was that the moment? Like, they did a good job of like doing what
playing with, yeah.
Yeah, like the reason why we were seeing Zack, the reason why we was like all this type of stuff. They did a great job of putting it together. It's a really good game. You can tell they put their heart into it. After mini games, I would say, Cam, if we're gonna do that, can we do in that review? Can we find a way to do a mini game tier list, bro?
Oh yeah.
Really, bro?
Oh yeah.
When I tell you, a conversation has to be had on the mini games, bro. It's like 2 good ones, bro. It's like
you saying 2? I don't
like if you can brute force Queen's Blood, like Queen's Blood is I brute force 90% of those battles. What I mean is, if I see that them niggas took one lane, I'm like, all right, restart. I see, like, I restart until I absolutely destroy them. That was my goal with every mini game. I restart. But let me stop talking about this because we got more important things to talk about. But last, I was just saying, like I said, play new games. Like I've been playing Helldivers with the homies. Devs quit doing meta chain. I know that's the community that makes it metas, but the way you don't destroy metas by nerfing things. You destroy metas by making things better. Not overtuning things, but you know. And if it's a meta in your game, I understand it makes your game stale, but you can't, overshift that meta happening by constant updates and constantly putting stuff in your game that makes me like, I don't want to play with this weapon anymore. That weapon's better. So instead of just nerfing everything and being like, all right, learn this whole new thing because you're gonna die if you don't. It's annoying. But I say, play games, man. It's a beautiful time to play games. We talk about 2024 we talking about how 2024 is good. 2025 is like really surrounded by one big dog. But even the announcements we getting for 2026, making it seem like that's going to be an amazing year too. We already getting Persona 6 goddamn rumors. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure other great games are going to come out that time, like Wolverine, or we finally get that Venom DLC or something like that. Like, it's going to be so much. And like, if you play games, it's a perfect time to expand your horizon on things, bro. If you see a 2D game that just dropped, you never played a 2D RPG, get in. That goddamn Final Fantasy Pixel Remastered been on sale for I don't know how long, and if you beat the Pixel Remastered and you want to play something else, every other Final Fantasy game has been on that goddamn except for 12, because I don't know why they dislike 12 or something like that. But every other Final Fantasy game has been on the PlayStation Plus thing for you to play. If you ever want to just find out why make that series such a great series, do it. And countless other games. I ain't playing Dragon Ball Series 2 because I don't know how a PS4 game is like a PS3 game on a PS4, so I ain't gonna touch that. But any other game, Dragon Ball is 1. I'm playing 2. Dragon Ball 1 looks fucking horrible on the PS5. Quite disrespectful if you ask me. But like, continue just trying new games, bro. The community gets so much better when niggas try new things, bro. We all gonna be a casual gamer when GTA 6 drop. So before that joint drop, try new freaking games, man. But I watch real TV, so don't ask me about no anime, man. I watch real stuff. All right.
But House of Dragons is coming back though.
I'm not even talking about stuff like that, bro.
Okay.
I'm talking about Baddies East. I'm talking about I ain't watching no Baddies East.
Ready? You do good though. One more time. You do good though. One more time. You do good though. One more time. You do good though.
Yeah, just have to make sure you was good, bro. I'm like,
I ain't watching no Baddies East. And if y'all ever catch me watching that, give my brain to science for CTE, bro.
Yeah, and I'm bringing Pastor along too. I'm like, hey, look, man, this man's watching Zeus. He has a subscription.
He got a subscription.
He's paying for Zeus. But yeah, so those are our recommendations. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the main event of this show. This is what brought us back together. Unfortunately, it's crazy how death brings us together. But either way, we're here to honor Akira Toriyama's legacy, to go the icon himself, the creator of the Dragonball series as a whole. Man passed, unfortunately, very unexpectedly. Like I said, earlier this month. I don't know why I'm thinking of date, but earlier this month, March 1st. Caught everybody by surprise. It was really one of those things that caught everybody by surprise, especially when Datra dropped it in the chat that evening. I was like, yo, what the hell just happened here? So, but we appreciate what Akira has done. The man is the reason why anime is so popular, is such in the mainstream that it is. If you're saying that, hey, I don't mess with Dragon Ball Z at all, or Dragon Ball as a series, I get that, but your OG, your GOAT, was inspired by his works. You still gotta give it his flowers either way. And for the people that's in the hood getting shot at 15, you should have been watching Dragon Ball Z instead, G. You would have been in a lot better place. Either way, point is, even though that's hilarious to the ear, but Dragon Ball has, you could say, saved many lives, influenced many things, many works, and we're just happy for the fact that he's left us with his legacy. And it's crazy when you really think about it, because I remember just like my favorite, I don't even say my favorite, but just the first time I was introduced to it was, like, so I'm the oldest here. I'm just gonna take that joke in itself, but like Cartoon Network, and of course Toonami was still Toonami. We had Gundam Wing, probably one of them Gundam series, Sailor Moon, and probably Batman was mixed in on there for some odd reason, and came up on it. I think it was when Vegeta and Goku fought, and the first time. And I was just watching. I'm like, yo, this is raw as hell. Now, back then, they will keep restarting the series. So you could be in the middle of Namek, and we're going all the way back.
That's the one.
To Raditz. And I'm like, what's going on? So,
while Goku's in the middle of charging his spirit bomb, we should take the opportunity to go back to the Saiyan saga with Raditz.
So, I will never forget 2nd grade when we finally got to Goku turning Super Saiyan, G. A beautiful moment in time, G. A beautiful moment, because I was in 2nd grade. We all had our theories, talking about it like, oh yeah, this is going to happen. And I'm just like, I don't know what y'all talking about, but when they said, hey, so when Goku turned Super Saiyan, we all came to school together. Was hype as hell, G. We was freaking hype, G. But that was just a beautiful moment, just knowing like, hey, that's why I became a fan of this series. So but y'all wasn't there during the early struggles. Like today is amazing. You don't have to go back to episode 1 when you well into Namek or stuff like that. Y'all like
the funny thing is
crack back.
They did that with Kai too. Like when back when we had Saturday morning cartoons, yeah, let's go date you. Back when we had Saturday morning cartoons, I think it was CW the Kids or 4K. I forgot. No, it wasn't 4K. It was like it was
CW or Nickelodeon. One of them.
No. It wasn't Nickelodeon. It was like an actual like Saturday morning cartoon type thing. Like I don't know if it was like CW the Kids or something like that. I forgot what they called it at the time. They would show Kai, and they would show they showed the Saiyan saga. Then they would go to Namek. They would stop at a particular point in Namek, and they go all the way back to the Saiyan saga.
Hey man, start on back. Start on back.
They did it during my time too. If you grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons like I did.
That's great. But Daytra,
man.
Your thoughts on honoring?
Man, I'm a OG Dragon Ball King. My mama told me it was demonic, so I had to watch that joint on accident. But what made me really a Dragon Ball fan is the game. Like, doesn't let me play Budokan Tenkaichi 2, I think, or something. Oh, one of the Budokans already in his crib. I wasn't never the same since. It became the love the show because of that. The more I interacted with like Dragon Ball as a game and stuff like that, or as a show, as a entertainment like juggernaut. Every time I interacted with it, I gained more love for it. There's things that, like for Budokan Tenkaichi 2, that was one of the only games me and my brother had on the PS2 at one point. And we played it. We lost our memory card, and we played it like all the way through. We broke the game. That's when PS2 had game breaking bugs.
Oh yeah.
There's no patches.
Yeah.
There comes a time you cannot beat. You gotta ask my brother. But there was a time, man, we had Budokan. You couldn't beat a certain enemy. If you did, the game would freeze, and you have to start all the way back over. You couldn't beat them. So the max level character I think we had in that game was like Namek Goku without Super Saiyan or something like that. It was terrible. But we played it, and we kept playing it, and we learned more and more about the characters, especially the original Z Fighters. That's why I rock with them so much. That's all we had on that joint. We barely had Scout of Vegeta, probably a couple Cybermen, but like we played that game till the wheels fall off, and then eventually we got a newer version. Then go through when my brother went to military school or whatever the hell Lincoln Challenge is, and I was by myself, and my cousin used to come over. Me and my brother has a crazy relationship, so not crazy in a bad way, crazy in a good way. So that was the first time we ever was like separated from each other for like a year and a half and stuff like that. And I was in a bad mindset because I ain't had my I would technically be Robin to Batman, but I ain't have my sidekick. So my cousin came over, and that's how me and cousin became really, 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 really great friends because we played. Well, me and cousin always been great friends, but we played Raging Blast 2 with each other. Like throughout the whole entire time my brother was gone, and we played Raging Blast 2. We spent the night at my house a couple times just to play Raging Blast 2. We'd go from like looking at Janemba, Raging Blast 2, underrated game, but Janemba and Cell, we'd create tournaments, and Cell will always be in the semifinals. For some reason, I guess he gets a stat boost at tournaments. But like he was there, and it just became. And then our friend group got even stronger because of Super. So like, Dragon Ball has been something that's in my life throughout my whole entire life. That's something that has always I can put it back to it. Be like, hey, this around the time when this and that. Man, the first time I ever seen the first time I ever seen a new Dragon, that's not Kai, but a new Dragon Ball episode come out is when they was talking about GT premiering on Toonami, bro. That's the first time I ever seen anything of Dragon Ball. And I heard that theme song, and as a kid, I'm like, that's fire. Right there.
Welcome to the grand tour.
Hey, hearing the nigga rap on the anime back then was like, hey, you can't be mad.
Yeah, it was fine no matter what.
Grand tour.
Like, even the Luffy, we talking about the OG 4 Kids One Piece, but that nigga rap. The niggas tuned in to hear that nigga rap. So it's but the culture is ingrained 1-to-1 with Dragon Ball. I don't care what these new age niggas are trying to tell you, or what's this, what's been. Particularly black culture is ingrained with Dragon Ball, just like Spanish culture and stuff like that. How they feel Latin culture. I mean, like how they feel about Dragon Ball. It's the same thing here in the States. We are like they're a little bit different. That was like one of the only animes they had on TV at the time, so that's all they knew about anime.
Hey, no, I was watching Dragon Ball and Telemundo a few times. G, I'm sorry.
Like, it's for us, it's a little bit different on how we all got into it. A lot of the people from church holes literally watched it just because their mama said it was demonic. So like, there's so much that has came from that show. Like, you can't. That's like, I again, just like how I look at niggas and when they tell me about games, I'm like, y'all not really in them fields. When people come and tell me, I know exactly what type of anime fan they are. If they trash certain things, bro, like I look at them, I'm like, y'all not really in them fields. Like,
you ain't grow up. You ain't grow up like that.
You was able to watch stuff through real time episodes on the illegal website, nigga. We watched AMVs, bro. Like,
man,
I had to watch it in 240 IP, nigga.
Like, my nigga, like, what? I watched Dragon Ball. You know how I watched the full series of Dragon Ball? On DragonBallZTV.com, nigga. I watched the full series.
I was gonna bring that up when I talk about Dragon Ball, G.
I watched the whole thing through that. Like, every episode, it was there. Did my mama computer probably get a virus for it? Most likely. But I watched the whole thing through that, my nigga. So, like, niggas wasn't around. This wasn't no, nigga, are you gonna pirate anime site? Your computer not coming back from that. Like, it was over with after that. So, like, this is how I watch that stuff, man. I grew to love. I'll talk about Z, later and things of that nature. But, like, for anybody that don't know about this and ingrained in the culture and stuff like that, and I understand that people bring up, well, look what he did with Popo. Even though Popo's not black, blame white people for how characters look, but Popo's not black. Now, you can talk about, like, Mr. Black Killer. That's a whole different conversation. Yeah. But, like, Popo in himself is not. You can say the same thing about, like, Jinx and Pokemon. It's not black, and it wasn't like a racist thing until people started feeling like, hey, characters look like characters. So, like, just again, for niggas who don't know Dragon Ball, and niggas don't understand Toriyama's letter. I can go on an hour and to break down how influential Toriyama was to your favorite mangaka. Like the Jump magazine. Look at old school Jump before Dragon Ball hit the scene, bro. Now this is before Toriyama died, because I follow this dude on TikTok who talks about old books and stuff like that. Why? Don't ask me why. He talks about old books and where they came from. All of Jump before Toriyama stepped on the scene looked at like Part 1 JoJo before they revolutionized the art, before they remade it. Very 60s Archie cartoon type stuff. If you look at Jump beforehand, look it up, bro. The moment Toriyama, you seen, next week, an art about Toriyama, you see his art profile and how his characters look. It was something different. And that's why that nigga revolutionized that magazine, bro. And niggas tuned into that magazine and tuned into Dr. Slump and Dragon Ball each week, because it didn't look like other things niggas put down. And now you got niggas to this day who would try to discredit his legacy. That nigga Kishimoto said he was depressed when Dragon Ball ended. He said he didn't know how to get on with life.
We wouldn't have One Piece. We wouldn't have Naruto if it was not for Dragon. We would not have these series.
They call that nigga sensei.
Because a lot of people like to, for some reason, they like to kind of like group together Dragon Ball with like Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. But you got to remember, Oda and Kishimoto grew up watching Dragon Ball, reading Dragon Ball. Like they grew up doing that stuff, and they were inspired so much that they went on to create their own great series. So his legacy, he impacted shows that you like to this day. When you talk about how One Piece is way better than Dragon Ball ever would be, and when you talk about how Naruto is the best thing ever because it's way better than Dragon Ball because they don't have plot armor or whatever hot take you want to put out in the market, realize that like Oda, Kishimoto, other people like that, they damn near worship this man. Like they said when they first met this man, they couldn't even like speak to him properly because they were just so amazed to be in the presence of Toriyama. And Toriyama is a humble ass dude. So you gotta realize, man, you gotta pay respects when respect is due, irregardless. And I've been using that word a lot, even though it is a very counterintuitive word. I know grammar police, irregardless is the same thing as regardless, but irregardless sounds a lot better for me. So irregardless of your thoughts on Dragon Ball as a series, from a narrative perspective, from a character perspective, what have you, that doesn't matter. We talk about the legacy of someone like Toriyama, and then for me, I'm not going to talk about too much when we get, because I want to talk about my stuff when we get to GT. But from a video game perspective, you got to hand this man his flowers, bro. Yep. Especially for me, one of the most highly regarded JRPG. If you're ever talking about JRPGs, you cannot talk about any JRPG without ever talking about how revolutionary Chrono Trigger was. Yep. Chrono Trigger was the premier RPG that came out in the Super Nintendo. You couldn't talk about anything if you was talking about like, man, what's like back then, what's the top 3 RPGs? Chrono Trigger would always be number 1.
It's
period.
Like
End of discussion.
Chrono Trigger 7
and like maybe like a Dragon Quest.
Yeah, maybe he ain't lying. Like nigga, going back, go watch some like old school like YouTube videos 10, 15 years ago. Nigga, you ain't talking RPGs unless you talking Chrono 7, Chrono Trigger 7, or some random Dragon Quest game that dropped. Nobody talking about them. Them is like the. You probably get gatekept if you didn't play at least one of those, bro.
If you didn't, you would get, honestly, you couldn't even talk about RPGs if you didn't play Chrono Trigger. That's how big it was. And like, I remember we had this conversation back when like 16 was coming out. Oh man, how like they were saying about like there's like this big team of like you had Devil May Cry, you had the Devil May Cry 5 combat director, you had Final Fantasy 14 director, you had all these juggernauts that were working on 16. Well, back then, Chrono Trigger was literally the dream. They called it the dream team. You had Toriyama working on character design. You had the original, the creator of Final Fantasy and the creator of Dragon Quest, all working together on that game. And to tell you the impact of that game in terms of how it changed the way that people did turn-based, if you've ever played like, so Sea of Stars was a game that came out, I think it was last year, 2023. It was an indie game. If you played that game is inspired by Chrono Trigger. If you've played like Super Mario RPG, any game in which like you can have some interaction with your character. So like you do an attack, and if you press an additional button, you do bonus damage. If you defend at the same time, team attack combos, all that stuff came from Chrono Trigger. Like different endings and your choices mattering and all other stuff. Like what Chrono Trigger did back then was just it just paved the market for RPGs, and Toriyama was in the center of that. And we already know his impact when it comes to Dragon Quest as well. I mean, he designs all those characters as well. So from a video game perspective as well, you gotta get this man his flowers. You absolutely have to. And for me, he was a huge impact on my life in terms of video, because I'll always tell you this, I'm a video game person before anime, before anything else. If you were to point a gun in my head and say, listen, you got a choice of never watching TV, anime, or whatever, but you can play video games, or you can do all that stuff but you can't play video games, I'm always choose playing video games. It's a huge impact on my life. So I gotta give Toriyama respects on that, and I'll go more into detail on the Dragon Ball side when we get there. But yeah, man, it's honestly I'll end it off on this, and we can move on. It's still hard to process. Like I still wake up, and it's like it's still news to me that he's passed away, and it's crazy too because this year alone is not only it's the 40th anniversary of Dragon Ball, and it's also the year of the dragon.
Yo,
which is insane.
that last part, wow.
It's just crazy looking at it like that. But one thing I can definitely say is that people say you die when people say you truly die when someone alive remembers you for the last time. And in Toriyama's case, that'll never happen. Because so long as entertainment, not anime, so long as entertainment media continues to be a thing, his name will always be in the forefront.
Yeah.
No lies told. So with that, we're going to transition. We're going to go to all four series, and we're just going to give a mini breakdown, our thoughts, feelings for each series in itself. I'm gonna lead with Dragon Ball, solely because like I would say Dragon Ball was the first anime where I legit dug up to find and wanted to watch, because for one, Toonami was taking too goddamn long. Once again, Dragon Ball was the prime example of when it finally showed up on Toonami. You're starting, okay, you go through the series, all right, first world tournament completed. All right, we're going right back to, all right, when Bulma meets Goku. Wow, I'm good, G. I'm good. Or, all right, we get introduced to Goku. No, we see Goku run through the Red Ribbon Army. Guess what? We're going right back to Goku meeting Bulma. I'm like, gee, stop. So, which kind of turned me off in a way, because I was really just interested in seeing origins of Goku, G. Like, I get it. He taps Bulma on the coochie, G. Okay, we get it. I get it. But it's other things we can I want to see. So that was the beginning of where can I find this and where can I watch it, because I was one of them niggas who learned how the internet really early. So same things Datro did. Found it on DragonBall.tv, whatever the heck it was. Found almost all the episodes and just binged it right there on very low quality, very bad monitor. Had to do a lot of deleting and a lot of deleting.
Don't forget, back then we had to pause and let it buffer too, and let the bar go up.
Give it a 5-minute head start. All right, cool. And by the way, so it's just like for me, this was a process, but it was a journey that I really embraced. But overall, Dragon Ball is where everything started. We meet Goku, we meet Bulma, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, all them niggas, Piccolo towards the end, and we just learn and just meet the characters. And if you wanted to arguably say Dragon Ball is the purest form of Dragon Ball in the whole series, in terms of you don't want over the top action, you only get hands. And that's why when people say Goku doesn't have hands, I'm like, you didn't watch Dragon Ball. This nigga was throwing hands since the age of 10 with little arms. Come on, man. So he been had the hand. Even if you take away everything else, he got the hand. But just the pureness and just the fun of the series in itself was just special to me, just to overall enjoy. Like, of course, I'm going to always have a heart for Z. Always. But Dragon Ball to me is like the adventure of it, the silliness of it, and just the origins. It holds a special place in my heart overall, especially the World Martial Arts Tournaments. You had 3 martial arts tournaments to fully enjoy. And on top of it, in between, had adventures of just seeing Goku showing I have a heart for people. I will do what I can to make the world a better place. When he soloed the Red Ribbon Army by himself. That was when I was like, yo, this nigga's really him. He's really him. You can't take that from him. Him avenging his little Indian homie when he's lost his pops, G. He went out his way to take care of that, G. And and got the Dragon Balls and resurrected homie. You can't tell me who has a bigger heart than that, bro. Nobody has a bigger heart than Goku, G. Even Kid Goku, kid/teen Goku, because arguably, even though he was the size of Krillin back then, he was technically a teenager. But just the whole experience and just seeing like certain like the growth of Krillin. Like Krillin was low key Goku's eye, you know. In the
yeah,
he was like
hated that. He hated that nigga, bro.
Hated his guts. But eventually, look at him. The greatest of friends is still the greatest of friends to this day, as we like well into Super. Master Roshi still Master Roshi, but you learn to respect Roshi because he was like, yo, he really wanted to see Goku be great. He snuck into the tournament and said, hey, bro, I ain't gonna let you be the greatest yet. You can be, but you're not. Even though it was a good example of like potential versus experience with Goku versus Master Roshi in the tournament. That was really dope that we could really go back on. This is also why Tien is my favorite non-Saiyan Z fighter as well. This because his introduction, he had a lot of great moments, and just his introduction, I was like, this is the first real nigga in the whole series to me in my book. Like, yeah, you can say like some of the other people, no, he was the first real one. Like legit, I was like, you can't be mad at what he does. He broke Yamcha's leg in front of Bulma. Is a top 2 moment of this whole series. Like that was one of the moments where it was like Bulma was like, yeah, I really don't like this nigga no more. That was probably strike 1, if not strike 2. Like, so once again, Vegeta could thank Tien for this, by the way. But the growth of Tien and seeing him become a villain into a I care about this planet, and he had to fight King Piccolo on his own, G. Because Goku was allegedly dead, and he was the only one. Roshi was dead, Chaozu was dead, and he had to fight King Piccolo on his own. Even though he still was slightly underpowered, he still did what he could and almost trapped him into the base. Almost. But then we see Goku really have that was Goku's first I'm back, thank you for holding it down moment. I'm here to
the first wait for Goku moment.
That was the first wait for Goku moment. Where Tien literally getting trounced, almost got murdered. And Goku finally shows up. It's like, I got you, bro. So we see all the origins of like all the little memes and jokes we make about Goku, and it was just like, it's here. You see where this is the start of it all, and you can't be like, I can't really say you're a true Dragon Ball Z fan if you haven't at least experienced Dragon Ball at least one time. I'm not gonna sit and say you're gonna fully enjoy it because it has its low moments. Because that first season, if you would say watch the first season of Dragon Ball again, I would never watch it ever again. I would solely because I get you meeting some of the core characters, but I'm like, I'm good on that, and I think I blame Toonami for part of it, but also it's the most boring. It's the most boring arc as well.
It's the JoJo Part 1 where it's like you gotta watch. You can watch it once and then appreciate it later on.
Yeah, like I'm good, bro. Like if you ever do want to watch like the first arc again, be my guest. But other than that, if you do, watch that 2 times the speed and be like Daytra, ignore the audio. I mean the dialogue. So, Dragon Ball really holds a really just special place in my heart in terms of like among all the other series, because it's the how sets the foundation and even tells you like even Toriyama thought, you think what I'm doing now, it can't get no bigger than this? Once Piccolo's introduced, it was like, nah, G, I'm introducing death, I'm introducing heartbreak, and hey, this dude could arguably take over the world if he so choose, but he had to be stopped. And it just introduced a bigger world that could have been at play as well. So shout out to Dragon Ball, bro. Like that, it's a pure adventure. It's really the adventure and a beautiful story, and Goku just becoming him. as I want to say. Yeah. But y'all overall thoughts of Dragon Ball, then we'll move on to Day Truck and talk. See.
Move on.
All right, Trail, it's on you.
Yeah, so I have the pleasure of talking about Z, even though I kind of wanted the pleasure of talking about the one I defended the most, Super. But
That's collective.
That's a group effort.
That's Super is always going to be a group effort in terms of that.
But Z is the I think Z, though the most popular, it's the most misunderstood saga in Dragon Ball history. Z is it's the edgy little brother, but it still holds some of the things true that Toriyama wanted for his show. It is 90s encapsulated. Like, that's just what it is. It's an extremely 90s type thing. Big muscles, semi-dark, even though Z wasn't that dark. You know, a lot of people view Z through anime eyes, which is, you know, filler, those type things. Have to make up to Goku 20 minutes to turn into a Super Saiyan and stuff like that. 20 episodes, but once you break Z down, it's a reason why people is in love with it so much. From Saiyan Saga to Blue Art, it does a lot of justice. It shows, once you realize what Dragon Ball is, it's the story of Goku and his friends, then you become to love the show more. Z is something, you know, from the Saiyan Saga, you get to see what Goku actually is, because they never explain what the hell Goku was in Dragon Ball. He was just a nigga with a tail that turned to a monkey. Now, if you knew what
Journey to the West, you understand like the Son Goku aspects and stuff like that. But if you ain't get nothing to know about no Journey to the West, you just, that nigga turned to a monkey. But you found out he was a Saiyan. And if you want to get deep, because people are Z, the writing suck. Every villain in that show, I forget what it's called. I don't know if it's called like shadow protagonist or something like that. But all those villains. You talking about a foil? Like somebody who's directly countering the main character?
Yes. Every villain in that show countered something of Goku's journey. When Raditz shows what Goku was supposed to be the moment he stepped on Earth, he's supposed to take it over and rule it. And he gave us a good introduction to what Z was going to be about. Vegeta showed what Goku was supposed to be as a person with his strength, a person that is the top of fighting and prideful and stuff like that. I think Frieza's a little bit more of what Vegeta would be if he achieved the Dragon Ball thing of, like, you know, was gonna kill stuff. But and so on and so forth. Cell is what Goku would have been if he really only cares about fighting and not the people around him, just waiting for his next battle. And Buu is what Goku would have been if he never found Grandpa Gohan. So, like, those things, those enemies that you see, of course they got different aspects on them and different things that we, you know, like them for, but it all revolves around that same nigga. Like, Goku himself of a character, we call it Superman-esque, you know, things of that nature. He's here to save the world, here to save the day and stuff like that. But Goku as a character is extremely important to me personally, and it's because of Z, a lot of Super and a little bit of Dragon Ball, but it's just because of, like, getting through the grit and being ready for your next opponent. Like, if you ever want to look at somebody going through a crazy time of life, as corny as it sounds, look at that nigga with the turtle gi on, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you. Look at the nigga with the turtle school gi on, bro. Like, he is a very character that defines grit. I don't want to hear about that talent versus
effort.
Yeah, talent versus potential or whatever. Talk about, like, oh, Goku only that because he was born stronger, but I prefer, you know, niggas that like Rock Lee and stuff like that. I want to hear nothing about that. That man, Goku.
that boy had to work to get to what he got.
Goku stuff, but that's just like to talk about the small impact of Z. Multiple cartoons have a going Super Saiyan moment, from Gumball, Kid Next Door, Timmy Turner surf through the
TV.
channels, movie. Yeah, that it's so many more. It is an extremely like it is insane. The Dragon Ball Gi, is quadruple platinum when it comes to anime and video gaming, bro. Like the dropping the weights is people's favorite moment in a different show. From this show.
Dragon Ball.
Goku was dropping weights.
When
They were dropping weights since Dragon Ball, bro.
When he dropped the weights against Tien, he was like, "Hold on." When he was grown up, he dropped the weights. He was like, "Yeah, okay, we can finally take this fight seriously." Like,
it literally showed the same thing it shows in Naruto. I'm about to go faster. It was the weights holding me back. You know, it is there. Dragon Ball also introduced everybody's favorite loser, but is a very, very, very impactful character in anime lore, and that's Vegeta. I think it's only there's only one other more inspirational. I forgot what the heck the second protagonist is called, but there's only one other inspirational one it's like Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho. But Vegeta is everybody's secondary rival character, whatever you want to call it. That is the benchmark of that, right? Good guy turned evil. You know, I mean, evil turned good guy, became a very good friend of Goku. It became he's everybody's favorite loser. But the moment you get a Vegeta moment, everybody's happy for some apparent reason. Even I'm happy. It even goes down to freaking Dokkan battle. The moment Vegeta finally gets a card that's on par with one random Goku card, the community
like, yes.
is happy, bro. So, that's another thing. I want to talk about one other thing about Vegeta, but I want to go to another character I introduced. It introduced everybody potential, baby. Freaking Gohan. It's not. If you dislike Gohan, you don't know what you're talking about. All right? When it comes to anything.
There's two different types of Gohan fans. There's Super Saiyan. There's regular Gohan fans who can enjoy his character growth throughout the story, and there's Super Saiyan 2 Gohan fans.
Like Gohan, he is such a lovable character. Adds a lot of like great character. A lot of great moments in the show came from the back of Gohan. Really, in Z. Yeah. From hitting Raditz with the craziest headbutt of all time to being the last sole person other than Goku standing on Namek, to defeating the Cell Games and surpassing his father, to introducing us to the Majin Buu saga through the Gay Sandman arc and stuff like that, to dropping the Patora ring and cutting us from the greatest transformation that ever graced the earth. It's so much Gohan introduced to the show. It made Piccolo one of the greatest teachers. He had a Roshi. Like him and Roshi can go 1-to-1 on teaching stuff. Piccolo taught niggas the fusion dance, so can't get too mad on that. But
Piccolo's character went from like this to this when you talk about his relationship with Gohan.
Yeah, it's even like it's a lot of people call it like a father thing, and great male figures in your life, kids serve a father role. But his is literally what a sensei is supposed to be when it comes to training. Even his love for Pan comes from his love from young Gohan. So it is not, oh, he's picking up Pan because, her grandfather is out there fighting Beerus. Maybe. But it's still a love that he has for Pan because his love for Gohan and how they grew up. If you read the last chapter, you can see that. And if we never get another chapter, by the way, it's good that he ended off on that. But the Piccolo, just a great character. It shows that like if you look at Z, like when they got out the hyperbolic time chamber, and they Goku was like, "Hey, I got a Turtle School gift for you if you want it," and that nigga Piccolo was like, "Nah, I want the one Piccolo had on, folks." And he took the Piccolo gi not because he's trying to follow under his father's footsteps, but it's the same reason that Goku wears the Turtle School gi. He's honoring the nigga that trains him, bro. So this
and then he did something similar when he went Ultimate Gohan. Yeah. Give me my dad's uniform.
Yeah, so like
he said, look, I gotta hold the earth down, G.
Yeah, so it's like it's if you watch Dragon Ball Z through the eyes of I'm trying to want to see what this hype is about, you will get disappointed. But if you watch it as the eyes and you watch the same things like Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, or any other great show that has came out, then you will get to see what made that show impactful. Now, I don't care. Like, there's even talk on the internet right now about Kai dub versus the original dub. Watch at your own discretion, my brother. But like, it's tomato. Read a wiki if you don't understand what the fuck going on.
Or play the games.
Play the game. Don't play Budokai Tenkaichi story. It'll make you seem like niggas was putting in work, even though they wasn't. Budokai Tenkaichi 2, to be exact. That pissed me off when you had to fight 40 niggas with Cell, and Cell would just be standing there like this, bro. Not that many niggas got to touch Cell, bro.
It was only
you had to do the mission where you had to beat him with Hercule.
I don't understand real skill, my nigga.
That stuff wasn't fun, okay? That stuff was not fun. It was between that one and you had to be 18 with Hercule. And that bitch whole purpose was to ring you out, nigga. It wasn't she was gonna give you a ring out, my nigga. But last thing, the moments of Dragon Ball Z is what made the show the show. So again, Goku turning Super Saiyan is what made the show the show. Even before that, if you want to go to the battle between Goku and Vegeta, niggas clamor for that. One thing I hate is when people create a show and they show a TV show or a manga. You know, there's a whole bunch of people making mangas out there, and it's so similar to like the things that they grew up and watched, and they don't pay homage. Like niggas that create a tournament arc just because they like tournament arcs. Niggas that create a Sasuke Retriever arc just because they like Sasuke Retriever arc, but not paying homage to the nigga who made it, right? So many mangas, they pay homage, so I'm gonna say that right now. But so many mangas have made the Goku and Vegeta moment within their show. Freaking Naruto literally has the battle, what is it called? What is the place called? We played too many storm games.
Battle of the Valley, something like that.
It's like Valley of the Two.
Valley of Death.
Great Ninjas or something like that. I don't
know, but whatever that place is literally the same place when Goku and Vegeta fought in that desolate desert. And whenever you see, remember the Naruto when Naruto and Sasuke clash with their arms and shit. Dragon Ball. And that was that whole thing. And niggas love part 1 Naruto's versus Sasuke fight. They love it. And it's the same thing with like Vegeta. I mean Vegeta and Goku. It is I'm gonna say, if you don't watch that fight, it might be a lot of screaming, but the story within Vegeta finding out this nigga who I just met 2 days ago is putting boots to ass right now is pissing me off, bro. Vegeta could not handle it, bro. Also, the Yajirobe moment is like a top 10 moment in Dragon Ball. Niggas don't understand, bro. Going back, watch that moment, nigga. Try to watch that moment without watching that show. That nigga cutting Vegeta's tail with that sword, absolutely insane, bro. It's amazing, bro. Like I'm telling you, then Krillin with the spirit bomb took Vegeta to the nether region, and Vegeta had to go on Twitter and say these niggas jumping me. It is insane. Then you go to the Android Cell side and you got moments like Vegeta getting bopped by 18, absolutely mollywop.
Well, him going Super Saiyan for the first time.
I should have said that. Him going Super Saiyan for the first time was amazing, even though he cried to get it. And then he getting bopped by him getting absolutely.
Hey, with the Vegeta slander fest right now.
Nah, because the thing is, I've watched a lot of like Dragon Ball videos, It's way too many. It's way too many of y'all out there.
His
bro.
L's is.
It's
look,
way
man,
too many of y'all Vegeta fans out there that be
I know.
embellishing his accomplishments.
And I'm one of those fans, but gee, I know my man catches L's. I'm like, hold on, where did we go? Where did this go?
He got bopped by that, and then we get to the meat and potatoes of the Cell arc. A really good arc to show not only Goku's fatherhood towards like Gohan, but also passing the torch. Everything that Goku had to learn within Dragon Ball and leading up to that moment about finishing off an enemy, Gohan had to learn right then and there, bro. So Gohan had to learn lost, like when when Goku lost Krillin. Doing was it Tambourine that smoked that nigga? Krillin?
Yeah.
Yeah, when Goku lost Krillin, he had to feel it when losing 16 CTE cells. He had to feel it. He had to feel it again, losing his father to his mistakes and things of that nature. And Gohan, right then and there, had to develop a sense of identity when it came to himself and not being the son of Goku. So, great arc. Also, the moment him turning Super Saiyan 2 with the flash and the bird. I don't know what's up with that sparrow that come at the wrong times in Dragon Ball, with the bird that flew away, and really great moment. Cell, amazing villain, everybody's favorite villain. I'm more of a Frieza type of guy, but that's everybody's favorite villain. And then you go to Buu Saga, a very underappreciated arc. I tell you that right now. If you want to see a good friendship between Vegeta and Goku, you gotta close your eyes through the Majin and stuff. But the Cell Saga was really good. I mean, the Buu Saga was really good.
Nigga sold his soul because he
just for
that man was glazing Goku so hard he sold his soul, bro. Could never be my top one. Could never.
Not
be
even
my
gonna
top
hold
one.
you. Not even gonna hold you. Ain't me man either, bro. I ain't gonna lie. And I rock you with Vegeta, but I'm gonna put a hashtag right there. But it starts off with Great Saiyan, man. I know people don't like Oda Gohan, but
that's my favorite. Well, fuck what nobody says. That's one of my favorite, if not my favorite arc in Dragon Ball Z. I don't give a fuck. I love Great Saiyan Man.
I do too. Great Saiyan Man went there. Then it started with the bibbity boppity boo stuff. Shout out to that. It shows a great. Also, that was a great capsule of like power between like, hey, bibbity boppity. Y'all don't know what these niggas do on Earth. These niggas real. These niggas is real. And they ran through that little gauntlet that them niggas had. The tournament wasn't too bad either before that. But and then Majin Vegeta versus Goku. I want to say this for novice Dragon Ball fans. I want to say this: Vegeta did not have some profound moment of saying, "This is why I want to become Majin." He literally became Majin Vegeta because he saw that nigga Goku do a power to Yakan that he never seen before, and he was like, "Damn, I really don't like this nigga." So he took that Majin pack.
Yes.
He wasn't evil. I don't care if Dokkan that gave him an extreme type. He wasn't evil. He wasn't this. He literally took that Majin pack just to see if he could one up the nigga that, he rivals with. It wasn't like he wanted to take over the world. He really was glazed, like Tim said, was glazing a nigga so much that he took the Majin pack.
He had to sell his soul.
Fight is amazing. When Vegeta put the little halo things on Goku's arm and started, and then Goku was like, "You must think I'm a punk." And then he took the rocks off and started smacking that nigga with it. Come on. Like, what?
And for all you Goku haters, because a lot of y'all Vegeta fans are Goku haters. Y'all niggas saying, why didn't he go Super Saiyan 3 during the fight? And because I feel like a lot of people make the thing with Dragon Ball fans can't read. I think it's particularly Vegeta fans that don't know how to read. Because it's like with Vegeta fans, like I said, y'all embellish his accomplishments and y'all kind of forget about everything else. Goku says, my Super Saiyan 3 transformation takes a lot of energy out of me. So if I do it, I'm going to use up my 24 hours of time. Also, it's going to speed up Buu coming back to life. So yes, Goku was holding back during that fight, but he had no other choice but to do so because of everything surrounding it. So I love a lot of people, but Vegeta knocked Goku out of the win, so it was his W.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what makes y'all a Vegeta fan.
Yeah, that nigga got rolled up out there. Yeah, they had to unravel that nigga after he did that shit, bro. It was crazy. But even though a final atonement, crazy moment for you Vegeta niggas, bro. Beautiful episode. Then we get to like the tail end of the Buu saga. You get Ultimate Gohan. Crazy moment. Absolutely insane moment. Ultimate Gohan. Amazing. Then we get Vegito. Well, we got. Let me say this: we did get Super Buu versus like Gotenks and stuff. Shout out to Gotenks. I'm bad for omitting them.
They gotta give respect to the Baghdaddy and Justice, bro. That's my nigga.
We need a new card in Dokkan. Omatsu, if you hearing this, go ahead and give us our Gotenks ally. We need that bad. But we got Ultimate Gohan, and then after that we got Vegito, which is still. I'm telling you, I gotta go watch a lot of stuff back in Dragon Ball. Vegito was crazy. It wasn't like the Wuhan and Vegito was on par with each other whatsoever.
They was nowhere near on par, bro.
That nigga went into a candy and was smoking that man, bro. There was no parity whatsoever between those two. And then they had to get 8 to say they friends, but it was getting serious, bro. And then after they defused and Kid Buu arrived, and Kid Buu versus Goku and Vegeta and a little bit of Hercule and Fat Buu. It's an amazing final battle. Please go watch it. It started off with them niggas playing rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first. And that nigga Goku won, and he was so freaking happy, bro. The fate of the universe
is at risk right now.
That nigga Vegeta, his face was like, he was like.
The fate of the universe was happening, and them niggas playing rock, paper, scissors to see who will get their butt kicked first. But even Vegeta realizing who's number one and stuff like that. And Dragon Ball Super niggas, he didn't forget who's number one. He knows Goku's number one. But his character in Dragon Ball Super is to not let that nigga get too far ahead of him. Okay? Let that be known, all right? Before y'all niggas, you don't think Goku's number one? No. Even in Ultra Ego or whatever fuck Vegeta did, he know that nigga who's kind of stupid is still better than him at fighting, bro. So, but even that Spirit Bomb, I'm saying bye to Buu, all the way till we get to Oob. Oh wait, my favorite moment in Dragon Ball actually is when Goku looked down at Vegeta and was like, "Hey bro, you straight?" Vegeta was like, "I'm straight," and they won a freaking day. Amazing. And then we get Oob, and that one nigga in the crowd was like, "Give that boy a hot dog." It was insanely crazy. But shout out to
low key, that is OC now. That is OC.
But yeah, Dragon Ball Z is ingrained in our culture and a lot of anime's legacy and stuff like that. It's ingrained in me. Like, I'm 28, so I'm a Z kid. Chris is at the tail end of Dragon Ball, which is absolutely crazy if you ask me. But did you see like how Dragon Ball looked animated? If you could watch the tail end of that is insane. But in all honesty, just like put some respect on Z. You can't rate GOAT. You can't rate GOAT. I don't want to see those Dragon Ball Z was an 8 out of 10. You can't rank the GOAT. That's like ranking Michael Jordan an 8 out of 10. Like, who you scaling them off of? Put them toward me. When you look at a great show, you look back at that. So that's how I think about Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, man, shout out to that.
Yeah. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next Dragon Ball GT.
Yes, sir. The black sheep of the series. They already said it that Chris grew up on Dragon Ball. He grew up on Dragon Ball Z. I grew up on Dragon Ball GT. The earliest memory I have of anything Dragon Ball related was GT. Back when it used to show up on Toonami. I first knew Goku as this slightly tan little nigga in a blue uniform.
That was the weird thing, was everybody was tan. Like, what the hell?
I don't know what that was about. The whole future edgy thing that they was trying to go for, but that's how I do. That's why I was like, because back when I was a kid, I didn't know what the hell anime was. I didn't know nothing about no anime, manga, I didn't know the difference between American cartoons and all that stuff. I saw this show and it appealed to me. I liked the kind of like the little kind of space adventure they had, and the transformations were cool. Everything was like really mystic to me. Like I'd never seen anything prior to what my experiences watching GT originally with my dad on Saturday nights on Toonami. That used to be some of the best innocent times of my life was those moments. And so growing up, obviously I watched Dragon Ball. I watched Dragon Ball Z to understand like the full story of going into GT. But to me, GT itself is a culmination of everything that Dragon Ball encapsulated and everything that Z encapsulated. Yep. The beginning part of Dragon Ball GT is literally Dragon Ball.
Yep.
Goku turns small. He has this journey throughout space where they're gathering the Dragon Balls. That's OG Dragon Ball. And it was more comedic. The beginning of GT was very comedic. It wasn't about like end of world destruction, and I think that's what the separation that a lot of Z fans have when it comes to GT is they want these world ending, just everything is the stakes are huge and everybody's about to die type shit, and that wasn't what GT was going for at the start, and I enjoyed that. Now, does GT have issues with characters and writing? Yes, Z does, and original Dragon Ball does, but the core of GT is what always stood out to me as this kind of futuristic innocent adventure with a freaking grown man kid with his granddaughter and freaking someone that we grew up like. This was Trunks from the Majin Buu saga. This was Kid Trunks from the Majin Buu saga growing up. So it's kind of like going back and seeing kind of his character in that series was really cool to me, because like you expect him to be like he's a different character than what you saw from him in the Cell saga with Future Trunks, and that was pretty cool to see. Seeing how Gohan and Gohan and Vidal's relationship has advanced forward. Seeing Chi-Chi, seeing Bulma, seeing all these characters in a future situation from what we saw at the end of Z was really cool to me. So that the Black Shadow Dragon Ball saga was really good for me. It was cool, but then it's honestly it's kind of like, again, like you can really feel elements of Dragon Ball, because it was just a little innocent little space adventure when they get back to Earth and that nigga baby pull up.
The consequences.
that nigga baby pull up, and we got the baby saga. And if it's one thing you cannot knock GT for, is GT had great fucking villains. Because Baby Vegeta was a cold villain. And his saga introduced, hands down to this day, you cannot argue this with me. I don't give a fuck what Super did. I don't care what Dragon Ball Z did. I don't care. Super Saiyan 4 is hands down the best transformation ever. Aesthetic wise, there's no beating it. It's not just there is no, my hair changed colors. Fuck that. No, we got an aesthetic change. We went back to the origins of the Great Ape, how they had to turn into the Super Great Ape. Then they reduced it down to a Super Saiyan transformation. It was cold. And that nigga Goku, every time he was Super Saiyan 4, it business. You knew it was about to get down to business. Had a great fight between him and Super Baby 2, or when he transformed into, what is it, Great Ape Baby? I don't know what they call the official transformation.
Baby Ape.
Great fight. Great saga. Then you got Super 17. That was a good saga.
That was my favorite saga for GT.
And Super 17, like, and that was, it was like, because it's like, man, I wonder what happened to 18, because 18 has a kid, she's married with Krillin. It's like, whatever happened to 17 after the events of the Cell saga, when they brought him back to life and they removed the bomb, and
he's chilling,
and seeing that he's just chilling, and then seeing like how, because niggas died. That's another thing about GT, because people were like, oh, GT's too baby. Oh no, I don't, bro. Niggas in GT was dying, and that's it. There was no coming back. They just died, and the fact that like, with the Super 17 saga, seeing them bringing back the people from hell, so you got freaking You got to see Frieza again. You got to see Cell again, and seeing him get baby shake was fucking hilarious. I'm not gonna lie to you. They had their moments, but they got baby shook. But that was just another great scene because I mean, again, it's just bringing back a lot of those nostalgia moments, characters from Z mixed in with the ambience of Dragon Ball. And then we get on to probably one of the most underrated sagas of all time, which is the Shadow Dragon saga. Because that saga was different for me. Because that was like, at first I was like, man, it's a lot of craziness happened, but like it's kind of like how I felt with the Buu saga, where like how much bigger can you get than Cell being a culmination of all your fighters? He's going to destroy the world, blah blah blah. And then you introduce this pink monstrosity who lifts his hand in the air and kills everybody on Earth. It's how I felt with the Shadow Dragons, and eventually when Sen Shenron came out, and eventually Omega Shenron. Seeing how much of a monster that nigga was, who was bodying niggas. We got Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, which, again, just like his Super Saiyan form, he had to cheat to get. GT fan, you Vegeta fans, I'm sorry. I know it's a lot of Vegeta slander this video. Trust me.
Hey, look,
you just gotta humble that nigga sometime. That nigga had to fucking bust out the artificial tank to turn Super Saiyan 4, which was funny. But it was a good transformation, and also lead it up to one of the most hypest fusions ever, which was Super Saiyan 4. Now, if you are an OG Dragon Ball game fan, that was the pinnacle.
Yes.
It didn't get no higher. We didn't have Super, so we didn't have God Goku, we didn't have Super Saiyan Blue, we didn't have Ultra Instinct. When it came to Dragon Ball games, the character that was like the nigga that you want to play with, who was always broken, overpowered, a cheese character, was Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. And when that nigga came in, it just started bodying him, just babying that nigga like a Shenron. And it was funny. It just had a lot of funny ass moments, a lot of cool moments, even though they was being way too fucking cocky, which again is just a Saiyan flaw in general. And it also led up to one of the more hypest moments of GT, which is the Universal Spirit Bomb, which again was just a culmination of their entire journey throughout the series, and you got to see it pay off with this one last huge Spirit Bomb. And honestly, one of the saddest moments ever, because I recently found this out like a couple years ago. But during that moment, when Omega Shenron did that minus energy ball, whatever he calls that thing, he killed Goku. Goku died during that moment. So it all was truly lost. And they made one last miracle wish for the Dragon Balls to bring him back to life so that he could do the Universal Spirit Bomb and save not only the Earth, but the entire universe. Which to me, I know niggas don't like GT, but that is a good way for a character like fucking Goku to go out. Like, you can't get no better than that. Saving the entire freaking universe like that. And so it was just such a bittersweet ending. Like, you got to see everybody rush up to Goku, and he gets on Shenron's back, and he's just like, I'm like, I would say watch it in dub, because dub is a little sadder as far as like the translation that happens.
More sadder.
Because like Goku's final words as he's on Shenron, he's like, I'm tired. And he fades into Shenron, all the Dragon Balls going to him, and he goes off away. And that was the end of GT. And it's like, for a series that people really don't like too much, it had a lot of great moments, a lot of impactful character moments. And the ending to me is one of those endings where it's like, if you're going to do something like kill off Goku, right? Because I know a lot of people back in the Frieza saga, they were like, no, you're not killing Goku off, bring him back. And then the same thing with Cell Saga, people were like, no, Toriyama, don't kill Goku off, bring him back. We don't care about Gohan. But if there is something where it's like, you're going to do something like kill off a character as influential and impactful as Goku, have him go out the way he did in GT, to me, was the best way to go about it. So I'll never argue. If somebody says they don't like GT, it is what it is. I'm not going to argue about it with you. But to me, it is a part of the legacy of Dragon Ball, whether you like it or not. And I like that moment. I like it a lot. I know that Toriyama didn't necessarily have, he mainly kind of had a more of like a direction and he did contribute a lot to the designs. He didn't necessarily, I don't know, I think the way it is, he didn't have like a huge overbearing, like this is how the story should go. But he still did stuff like the Super Saiyan 4 transformation, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, all that, this Omega Shenron. He did the designs and stuff for those characters. And I appreciate it because GT shaped, if it wasn't for GT, I would not have been into anime. I wouldn't have been into Dragon Ball because that was my introduction to the series. And it made me, watching GT as a kid made me go out and seek Dragon Ball Z, to seek Dragon Ball. Because imagine being me and being confused as hell watching Dragon Ball Z. Because I'm like, why is this nigga tall? Why is Gohan like? I was like, again, I didn't know about prequel series. I didn't know about none of this shit. So like, I'm watching Z and I'm just like, and then when I got to Dragon Ball, I'm like, so you was small twice? What's going on? I was confused, but it was still like. I'm so glad that I was introduced through Dragon Ball through GT because it gives you a different lens on appreciating Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z even more when you see the impact of those series throughout the journey of GT. So not a lot of people like to go, yay, GT isn't canon anymore because we got Super, yay. But me, I'm like, I can appreciate both. I can appreciate all of it. And yeah, so that's my foray to GT, and I will always die on that hill when it comes to GT. I don't care if it's universally hated by you Dragon Ball fans. I'ma like it.
Hey, you got stamped, and he stood on business about it. And like I said, GT to an extent is underrated. It's not gonna ever go get full on flowers, especially now that Super is out, Tactical what's out. It's just never gonna get its true appreciation, but we're here to make you guys respect it. Give it another rewatch. But as we transition, we're going to go to the present, which is Dragon Ball Super, which we can sit here and say as a collective, it restored a feeling. Like for the current generation of youngins who was looking at getting into anime, they parents who are anime fans was like, hey, the show Dragon Ball Z raw as hell, but then you get Super as your introduction as a youngin. It's like, oh, I see why my dad or my mother or my brothers really rock with this series so heavily. Mm-hmm. And Super even brought back people who don't even really watch anime like that or just watch Dragon Ball Z and was like, hold on, there's a new series out? Hold on, let me watch this, and seeing the clips. Look, man, I want you guys to understand the tournament power brought people back. It really brought people back to the series, G. It made people realize, like, oh, man, this is what I've been missing. So Super really did what it was supposed to do, which was restore the feeling. Even though, like, Dragon Ball series was always in the forefront mainstream-wise, but they overall just restored the feeling and gave a new generation of anime fans that realization, like, this is why this series is what it is and why it's so beloved and is why it's so much in the forefront and why your faves love this series to this day. And I will say, like, when Super first was announced, I was hyped. Like, when the movie dropped, I was like, when we got the Beerus, Battle of Gods, I was like, okay, this is a little different. And at that point, we all had access to our anime pirate alleged websites to watch that movie because the only way. So at that point, we all in age where it's like, we know where to go to watch this, and I was impressed. And then now when actual Super anime started, I was like, yo, what is this, man? I was one of those people that was like, what is this, man? But it grew on me more and more and more. And on top of it, it brought us together, like as friends, like Cam watching it, Daytra, we watching it. And then once we got towards, it then became like the PSN party, G. Like those were moments, bro.
We would literally all hop on. Like, all right, y'all, everybody 0-0 on this Super episode, start. And we all watching Dragon Ball Super.
reaction
on a week to week basis. To this day, there has not been a single anime that has done that with our group, with our entire friend group. We have not done that for any other, and with the exception, I think, of maybe like the ending of JoJo Part 6. That's like the one exception, because a lot of us was watching that together.
I kind of was in the party,
but like in terms of like really bringing us together to watch something on a week to week basis, no other anime has done that to our group like Dragon Ball Super did. And it was like, and I think I had the same sentiments, because I remember when I first saw the Super Saiyan God transformation from Battle of Gods, and I was like, is this fan made? Like, I was like, what the? I didn't know, because like I think it was actually my dad who told me that like there's new Dragon Ball stuff, because back then, because when the Beerus movie, when Battle of Gods and Resurrection of the Dead came out, it was still classified as Dragon Ball Z. It wasn't officially Super. Even though we put those movies under the Super radar, it was technically Dragon Ball Z. And so it was really cool kind of seeing that. I was like, wow, okay, Frieza's back. They got this they got like gods and angels and stuff like that. And it was really cool kind of seeing, again, an expansion, because you start off from Dragon Ball and you get to kind of see everything. Dragon Ball starts off as like this kid earthly adventure. Dragon Ball Z establishes that there's places out there that have way stronger niggas that can fuck up the earth. Dragon Ball GT, same thing, but it came from a more of a spiritual point of view when it dealt with the Dragon Balls themselves and the consequences of everybody in that universe misusing the Dragon Balls. And then Dragon Ball Super now culminates to, not only are there stronger niggas in space, but there are multiple universes with strong niggas out there. And there's this supreme nigga who's stronger than everybody combined. And then for someone like Goku's character, that's only like oh, hell yeah. You mean to tell me that there's way more stronger people out there? My journey's not over. And so I think that's kind of like, that's like really Super's like biggest foundation, and why I love it so much. Even though to me, it's Battle of Gods, the movie, Resurrection F, the movie, and then Goku Black. And then that's what my Super said. Even though the Universe 6 versus 7 stuff was cool, but to me, Super really started to like get me with the Goku Black arc, because that introduced my all-time favorite villain in the Dragon Ball universe is my nigga Goku fucking Black. Real, and I'm a Goku Black stan. I don't care what anybody said. I don't care about Merge Zamasu or anything like that. I'm purely Goku Black. And that nigga was cold as hell. And I mean, it's ironic that the best villain is also the main character, but hey, sometimes it be like that. It just seeing Goku Black, seeing seeing how cold and calculated he was, seeing his Super Saiyan transformation, seeing him basically be a reflection to Goku, to himself, because he kept getting stronger progressively throughout the series himself. Like, he was just like, shit, I didn't even know I could do that. Hey, shout out to you Saiyans. He said, you
Trunks wasn't making me sweat. These niggas making me sweat.
It's like, you Saiyans get power by rage, right? Oh, I'm angry all the time because fuck you mortals. And it's just like just seeing all that stuff culminate. And it's like, I love the Universal Survival Tournament. We can get into that later, because that in of itself, I don't even consider that to be an arc. That's iconic. And I know it might be a hot take. Universal Survival Tournament is iconic, bro. It just is. It's an iconic arc. But the Goku Black, to me, it really cemented Super's place as a series in Dragon Ball, because it took a concept that people saw in like GT, where it's like, oh, Vegeta's a bad guy. Like, okay, what if Goku was a bad guy? And like, it took that concept and you got to see it culminate into like, damn, Goku really would be a real ass nigga if he was a villain.
Make Goku a villain with a god complex.
Right, with a god complex. And it worked. It worked. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of that ending, I still enjoyed this.
But you have to think about what that ending, to really take out a super form Goku fused with another god, you had to get the strongest being of all universes.
No, I'm talking about the trunk shit, not the Xeno.
Yeah, I know the trunk, but still, he still survived.
Yeah.
Still
Like
survived.
it was just a really great arc, and that's to be like one of like, aside from Tournament of Power stuff, to me that's like some of my favorite moments in Super is like seeing this. And then we also got freaking Vegito Blue, which was like, come on now, like that shit was fucking cold. That nigga Zamasu was crying, and then this man Vegito's like, "Are you crying?" Like, it's just so many great freaking moments in that arc and in the series. So yeah, I mean, shout out to Super.
Eliteness. Datra, your thoughts on Super, and before we go on why the Universal Tournament is elite.
I co-sign everything. It just Super, like, it did a good job of just, starting off where it left off. In terms of like, you look back at like I don't count the show, I count the movies.
Yeah,
that show situation is kind of, but when it started off with, something that we heard about always, like the legendary Super Saiyan. This nigga's Beer's like, this nigga gonna come beat me up. I need to go find this nigga. And it started off with that, and we found Beerus. We never really seen Goku never complete a battle like that. And Beerus was like, nigga, I wasn't even going all out. For a second, you made me do some stuff, but it wasn't even that. And then shows Goku great determination, like, hey, one, I ain't gonna let you destroy my world, and two, hey, can you teach me, because I need some help. And then Goku got what Goku needed to be, and then they bring back a popular villain in Frieza, shows that Frieza never trained in his life, and that's what happens when he's trained. Then Goku and Vegeta was like, yeah, you should have been training some more, cuz.
You stood them niggas.
Yeah, we about to squash you, dog. And
which led to Black Frieza.
Black Frieza. I don't like saying that name, man. Then we get Goku Black arc. We never seen before, like y'all said. Y'all said that arc beautifully. It's just a great arc from front to back. Hakai Beerus was in our group chat, or at least like,
oh my god,
yeah.
We hear Kai and that nigga for the first time.
That scream is epic.
I got a fan. I know I got that somewhere in the chambers. I
don't think I got that in the soundboard anymore.
Like that did so much. But yeah, Super is just really, really good. And every arc they end Super off of, this how you can tell, like, there's some really good arcs. You can end Dragon Ball right there. Like, you don't have to do anything else. You can end it right there. The reason people, we talk about Tournament of Power later, but the reason people love the Tournament of Power so much is because it ended really good and people want to see more. But like, it can end right there, and we'd be like, shout out to Dragon Ball. Same thing with the Broly movie and Super. Super.
Man,
it ends and you can just be like, I'm satisfied. And that's every arc had me satisfied after that. After watching it, so I love Super. I'm a Super defender. It's niggas, you go on YouTube and people talk about how bad Super is. Y'all not really down with that stuff. You watch the Jujutsu Kaisen, bro. I can't take your shit.
Demon Slayer, my nigga.
But yeah, I just love Super, man. It's like it's amazing. So
yeah. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the greatness that was Tournament of Power. And for me, I think it's great that in low key it ended on a tournament arc, even though we still don't know where everyone get the moral arc. But Super just ending on a tournament arc is like back to pure Dragon Ball in terms of what the essence of why one of the reasons I fell in love with Dragon Ball the series was tournaments. And Toriyama was like, and, we got the Universe 6 versus Universe 7. That was play. This is legit. Here's a real tournament because Goku wants to fight all the real niggas universe wide, G. And it was like I couldn't have an issue with it. Yeah, the consequences was pretty real, but in very Dragon Ball fashion, you kind of have to put those kind of consequences in it, because it'd be one thing to say, "Hey, Goku, just fight Jiren and we move." No, we needed Goku to have legit stakes. The universe is at risk here. Get your top 7 niggas, or was it top 8? 7 or 8? 7. Get your top 7. Y'all get y'all 7, and we ball, bro. And that was cinema almost every week, bro. Everybody had a moment, even though they did my boy Tien bogus. I still stand by this day. he got done bogus, but
remove him from the roster, bro. I ain't gonna lie, Goku sold on that. Goku kind of sold on that initial roster. That man Tien. I'm not gonna lie, I respected Tien a lot. Super almost made me hate that nigga, bro.
Pissed me off. You don't understand.
That man had one knockout. He had one knockout, and this nigga.
They made Roshi look better, bro. You don't understand how much that pisses me off.
He had the nerve. He had the audacity in my Stephen A. Smith chamber to sit up here and say he made this move in which he multiplies himself, and he goes like, "Yeah, I multiply myself, but my power is also reduced." What's the point? And then he used that move to go neutral. The nigga went neutral, bruh. Bro, Krillin had dirty shoes, bruh. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the OG cast, but I, in no way, shape, or form, is Roshi, Tien, and Krillin in my roster. They're not. I'm hitting up Future Trunks.
I understand.
I'm hitting up Future Trunks. I'm hitting up Goten. I'm hitting up Trunk. I will die on this hill. And I remember I had this argument with someone. I don't care if they're kids. I don't care if they're inexperienced. I'm taking Goten and Kid Trunks over Tien and Tien and Krillin any day.
Like
I'm dying on that hill. I'm dying on that hill. I am dying on that hill.
I don't know why Tori was like, "Hey, I can't put Goten and Trunks in here because they confused and it's gonna be overpowered." Majin Buu, to an extent, I get because he solos majority of them niggas. So it's just like, I get you had to find a BS reason to remove Fat Buu out of the picture for that. I get that, but gee. You could have kept Goten and Trunks, G. You could have had them fused beforehand and enter the tournament as Gotenks. That would have been cold. Because Goten and Trunks definitely deserve more moments. Ain't the fusion rule what? It lasts an hour, I think.
They retconned it. It's like 30
They did retcon it, but yeah. But the tournament itself lasts what, an hour? It was alleged.
It was 45 minutes. It was 45 minutes.
See?
5 minutes.
Bro, the disrespect. Like Toriyama was like, I don't know what he had against.
I don't even think that was a Toriyama thing. I think maybe Toriyama said like, and we don't know, right? But speculation. He probably could have been like, these are the people that I want to fight in the tournament. Obviously, Tien, Krillin, and Roshi for just the OG. The respect of the OGs. I 1,000% blame the writers and the directors for what they did to them characters.
They did not.
Roshi went out.
Series, G.
Roshi was absolutely amazing and deservedly so. He is a very popular character. He's an OG. He's Goku's teacher. He deserves respect. But they disrespected Krillin and Yamcha in that tournament.
Tien.
Not Yamcha. Tien. I'm sorry, Yamcha. You just got disrespected, period. That nigga went home and was like, I hope they don't invite me.
He was like, I wasn't even thinking about you, bro. Just OC. But yeah, like, I don't know what they had against Goten and Trunks, but they were present. I get you. I think it was more just set up the drama, but I don't care, bro. You could have figured out a way to properly sent them out due to inexperience. That's why they get eliminated. Inexperience. But other than that, come on, man. But Moving on, but like just the introduction to like how we got teased with, or even teasing Goku's appetite for strong opponents of introducing Jiren was like,
Man.
look, bro, what's his name? God dang it. What's his name? Fat folks, the fat dude with the mustache.
Topo?
Yeah, Topo was like, after the preliminary tournament they had, the exhibition, they was like, Jiren gonna fuck your ass up, man. You good.
This ain't nothing.
So like, and then we finally meet Jiren.
There's a nigga out there, man.
All right. He's like, there's somebody out here that is on par with the gods.
Even that guy shook like, yeah, he real. But the introduction of Jiren, he just being a plain gray nigga. And I was like, okay. But he just standing there just meditating, waiting on somebody to walk up, eliminates, one hit kills him. Then we finally get the Goku versus Jiren 1.
Part one. And by the way, that's one of two moments when Dragon Ball Super was originally airing when it broke the internet. Part one of UI Goku. We had to watch that episode. I forgot the dude's name. We had to watch it on some dude's YouTube channel. He had that bit. If you can see my screen right now, he had that bit like on the side, like right there.
You had to literally look at it.
We had to watch the stream like that. And we watched it and enjoyed every second of it, bro. But we could not, because no one could realistically watch that episode officially when it dropped.
Yeah, because Crunchyroll crashed.
Couldn't do it.
Crunchyroll, Funimation, all crashed. It was like, yeah, we can't handle this traffic right now, G. Once again, your faves can't do that, G. Your faves couldn't do that. But that was a moment. And also shout out to the Naked Jiren meme. That's also a top moment. Shout out to our homie Byron. Shout out to our homie Byron, bro. Just his reaction. Just somebody got thrown in the chat one time and just tagged Byron for his reaction. Hilarious. But Jiren just bodying niggas. But also Goku coming back, UI'd up, and was like, oh, it's about to get real crazy in here. Then we see Goku skate. He grinded on a energy beam and eliminated Kefla. That was a moment, bro. That was Goku's like, none of y'all really fuck with me, G. There's only one other dude who fucks with me in here. And we skated off that fucking beam with a Kamehameha wave.
That was because it was prior to that, because we got the Kale transformation, kind of bringing back the vibes. We didn't really we touched too much on that, but like, I mean, Broly is a very in the West. Broly is an extremely popular character. You can't talk about Dragon Ball at all, regardless of what you're talking about, without mentioning Broly. So them kind of bringing back Broly, not fully, but bringing back the kind of like the member berry, the nostalgia of like, oh yeah, there's other people that have, this is the Broly of Universe 6, so to speak. And then seeing her being an absolute menace to Super Saiyan Blue Goku, which in turn gave us a little future hit on what that nigga Broly would do to that nigga in that movie. but seeing that, but then also seeing Jiren just casually
flick them away,
and then just turn around and then just go, all right, I'm finna meditate. Now, like just seeing the impact of how this man was rolling throughout the entire tournament. And I think that's what the Tournament of Power did so well, because we all knew that it was going to be Universe 7 versus whatever universe Jiren was, because they set that up since Universe 6 versus 7. So we knew the ultimate showdown was always going to be Goku versus Jiren. And that tournament, within like those episodes, did a great job of establishing how dominant and how much of a threat this nigga was. Because you hit fans took one of the biggest L's known to man.
Stop time. He told the man, "You're wasting time."
This man, because Hit was another character that was introduced in Super that became very popular. A lot of people like Hit's character, and deservedly so. He is a cool character. He has a nice move set. The boxer assassin style is really cool. And so going into the Tournament of Power, a lot of people was like, "Oh, we get to see Hit again. I can't wait to see Hit do this. Oh, maybe Hit has a chance against Jiren." And this man got baby shit. This man Jiren did a barrel roll front flip and landed on this nigga, bruh. And then he stopped, and then he was like, "This is my most powerful move." Like, he did this time stop thing. This man Jiren was like, Go ahead and get up out of here, my boy. like it was just,
much longer, player.
right. Like it was just, he literally they did a great job of putting Jiren in like places where, oh man, like they're really strong, man. How they go? Here comes Jiren. And it all led up to the part one fight, which is really cool. Funny as hell moment. Goku starting off in base form, going Super Saiyan, just punching him, and this man Jiren is just like, okay, that's cute. Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan, the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, and then like this man Jiren is just like, dude, get out of here! Like, what are you doing? And just seeing that, like, this is Goku we talking about. Like, we all know how cold Goku is, but this man could not do a damn thing to Jiren. And then we got the hype of the UI Goku transformation. One of the most like the transition into the transformation was really cool with him doing the Kaioken, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Spirit Bomb. And then Jiren like that shit back.
He said,
he's like, "This is my full power." And then Jiren's just like, no. Like, it was just it's just really cool, like seeing how that fight just established, like that part one fight was like to tell us the fans that, like, nah, whatever you thought this tournament was gonna be, whoever you thought was gonna do this or do that, or who's gonna have this moment, no, it's all leading up to him. And I think that was probably some of the best moments of the tournament, was kind of seeing that, oh man, what? Oh, Jiren's not in this episode. Oh, Jiren's in this episode. What's he gonna do? Like, oh, is Jiren in this episode?
Most of
like,
the time.
He was that big bad. It's kind of similar to Avatar: The Last Airbender, where like you didn't see like Fire Lord Ozai was like that shadow in the background. Like whenever Aang went up against the enemy, it was like, okay, but what about Fire Lord Ozai? And you don't see this nigga until the final season. And it's like, okay, yeah, this nigga only knows how to fire bend, but he go put in work. So it's kind of like that similar vibe of like having Jiren be that, like, okay, Goku beat Kefla, there's still Jiren. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, you beat this guy, but there's still Jiren. Like, he's still that ever looming threat. That this tournament really is gonna determine who wins the tournament. So, yeah, it was really nice. And then, oh man, I'm gonna stop talking because I've been rambling and I'm gonna let other people talk. But my GOAT came back. Now, I don't know if y'all know this. I never said that I was a Goku fan, and I never said I was a Vegeta fan. I can appreciate both characters, but if you were to point a gun to my head and say, who's your favorite character in all of Dragon Ball? My nigga, Android 17, my GOAT. Now, I can't tell you why I like this character. I don't know. Like, he just always like stood out to me when I watched the original Cell Saga, with how nonchalant he was, how much he didn't give a shit. I liked him in Super 17 with his famous line, "No one can beat me when I'm Super 17." Like, that shit was fire. Like, but his introduction is Super. I was like, okay, what is my nigga doing here? And like him clashing with Blue Goku, them establishing, because one thing that I always was curious about in terms of Dragon Ball, because like, you know, we have Saiyans, we have like these, like, you know, Saiyans are like this strong, and we have gods, we have angels, we have all these different races. but they always said that like androids have limitless energy, meaning that they can be as strong as like these Saiyans, as like these guys, if they wanted to, with training and shit like that, right? That's I'm going into ifs, but like it was cool to kind of see them power scale the androids to match up to the appropriate levels needed to fight in the tournament. Because I mean, they can be cold. We've seen how cold they can be in the Cell Saga. So it was also cool kind of seeing them do that with Super. And there's a lot more I could say. I mean, we could talk for like fucking 5 hours about the Tournament of Power.
I love it. That's my man. My only thing about the Tournament of Power, I watch Goku and Frieza take out Jiren at least 100 times.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that was a moment.
I always go back to some episodes in the Tournament of Power. They're too good.
That nigga, you know, that nigga Goku was like, "Yo, Frieza, I didn't lie to you, man. When you win this, you free." Frieza said, "Bet," and them niggas just went all out, bro. And it's so crazy. Man, Frieza just was just like, "Fuck these niggas out of this tournament," but he, in that moment, they set that crazy rivalry aside. He was able to take out Jiren because Jiren is such that much of a threat. And it was insane. Vegeta was even shocked seeing them two niggas fight with each other.
That man was like, he was like, he's like Kakarot's working with Frieza.
Hold on, this ain't
that moment when Goku flipped Frieza like to Jiren and Frieza did his famous
the charge.
And Jiren was slapping that nigga around like this, and Goku barely can go Super Saiyan. Flew down and thought that it was such a moment, bro. And then they took that nigga off the stage, and he just like, who won? You see 17 right there, flicked his head. About to get that boat, nigga.
I was like, because I was pressed when they said that nigga. When they was like, oh, he died. I was like, no, he didn't. I know for a fact he didn't. He didn't die. But seeing that, like the aftermath of like, oh, there's no one left. So like, is it gonna be like a who went out first type thing? And this man 17 was just like, no, I'm right here, y'all. I didn't charge in with them. It's just like seeing that, and we were, mind y'all, that's probably like a top 3, probably number 1 party moment of all time, because we were geeked as hell watching that final episode of Super, bro. Like I remember this moment because I was in college at the time. I remember watching this moment on my lap. I was like, yeah, let's go. It's like the middle of the night, so people knocking on my door and shit. But like, it was man, that moment was so good. And seeing just how desperate they were to take this nigga out too was like really cool. And I kind of like the whole thing with Jiren, even though a lot of people say that Jiren's character was kind of ruined when they went into his backstory, albeit his backstory was silly. It was silly as hell, but the culmination of them kind of being like, nah, it's about like, yeah, you can have strength and you are a threat alone, but like if we team up, if we got trust on our side, like it's up for you. Because like seeing, like, especially if you look at the history of Dragon Ball, and especially with this nigga Frieza is somebody who deserves nothing but the worst, like ever. Like, he does not deserve anything good happen. So seeing, like, I could just imagine after the Frieza saga, if you went back in time and told like a Dragon Ball fan, like, yeah, in the future Goku and Frieza are going to team up and beat a bad guy together, they probably look at you like, huh? Nigga, what? like what, that
what power fresh did he use?
Right, and like, just it's such a cool moment to see. And I mean, even going back before that, Mastered UI Goku, when he first went Mastered Ultra Instinct, and you just see the god stand up, and then you see Beerus talk to Whis. You said, Whis, he says, he said, did he do it? He's like, yes. He said, what a guy. Like, see, like, and he got this big ass smile on his face. Like, and then, like, there's so many moments, and that's the big thing. That's why I say the Tournament of Power is iconic in terms of Dragon Ball history, period. Because, like, you can't, like, if you're talking about Super, hell, if you're talking about Dragon Ball, you're going to talk about the Tournament of Power, whether you want to or not. And I mean, it even caused an international beef between Mexico and Japan. like the niggas got like the Ministry of Japan had to send them a message because they were saying like, hey, look, y'all can't be streaming this like this. Y'all gotta like watch it individually. So I mean, this just gives you another impact of the legacy of Dragon Ball and how crazy influential it is. But I'm gonna stop talking. The Tournament of Power is really good, and it also led to one of the best Dragon Ball movies of all time, Broly.
They gave my man's a true movie after the shenanigans that was Bob Broly. Like, fuck that movie. But either way, like, and that was an epic moment because us all going to the theater together to watch that and just enjoying it. That was a moment in time, bro. Like, Super really brought all of us together as a group. That's why I respect our friendship group so much. And like I said, like I said in the beginning, without Toriyama, this wouldn't be a thing right now. I solely really believe that without Toriyama, this wouldn't be a thing. And we're just grateful for the creation he brought to the world. He brought it to the world, and it brought friends together, it brought families together, it influenced many artists, other mangakas, animators, whatever. Like everybody, like so many were influenced by just this man's work.
Even jobs. A lot of people owe their current livelihoods to Toriyama.
Yep.
There's so many people who are content creators who cover Dragon Ball stuff. I mean, just imagine you being a kid who wants to get into animation, and you like imagine like there's probably some kid or some person in Japan right now who grew up as a kid watching Dragon Ball and is now an animator for Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, he's done a lot for the culture.
Agreed. So with that said, long live Toriyama. Like, it's like, yes, rest in peace, but his legacy lives on forever. Like, his works will live on. Like, he will live on forever because of his works, you know. And Swell guys, we don't know nothing, no allegations. Swell guy, everybody gives him nothing but love and flowers, especially like his peers, you know. Like, they view him as a god himself, but like, you never heard nothing crazy or bad about him. I mean, love to hear that, you know. That's really great to hear. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We're gonna give you guys news on the future of what Black Otakus is. So, with that said, like I said, we've been on hiatus for a really long time, like a year and a half, possibly. And I know, like, if you've watched Threes from the Ring, when we started getting back consistent, I explained what went on, you know. And if you probably noticed, there's a new logo for you Tweeking Media, as you kind of see on the top right hand of the screen where Cam is. You'll see the new logo. And with that said, it's a little rebrand going on. So we also are going to go through a nice little rebrand. About months ago, I was like, it's time for a name change for this podcast, especially once we start the rebrand for this. And we will have a new name once we start back up. So once again, we will go on another slight hiatus, but this is the end of Black Otakus of the Cultures. Don't mean it's the end of us. You will see us together once again, but under a new name. That will be Attack on Culture, which is our brand new name for our gaming anime podcast, and also any content in that sphere as well. So we will be back. A new logo is on the way for that as well. So shout out to my homie Akira for working on that. But we will be back under a new name. I hope you guys look forward to it. I will probably change the Twitter name as well. So for those that just suddenly be like, why to be Black Otakus, it will be Attack on Culture Pod, something like that. And for me, reason why I feel like this name works a lot more for one is less wordy. for one, lot less wordy. But also, when I went back to listen to older episodes, yes, I often think we would say we are of the culture, not in the culture. And we do crack a lot of jokes, but we do a lot of attacking in a way. So it's just our way of just saying, hey, we're going to look into the culture. We're going to talk about the culture. It might be an attack. Shoot, you never know. But regardless, this is what we love. This is what we do. And we enjoy entertaining you guys. So with that said, definitely tune in when we come back as Attack on the Culture. And with that said, make sure you follow us on Twitter at Attack on Culture. I almost did my Threes from the Ring spiel, so I had to correct myself. But if you're watching us on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe as well. Like the Facebook page, Tweeking Media. Share with your peoples. Let your peoples know you rock with us. And we appreciate the support. We appreciate the ongoing support as we open up a brand new book into this genre of the podcast for us. So with that said, we appreciate you guys, and peace.
Avita's in.